Part 3, the tool you can use now, the tool you can use forever, the thing that you have come to this workshop for, because you know that the brain speaks in pictures. And you know that we have this way of processing and moving through problems that has been, my pen, that has been synonymous with humankind across the eons. You know that people are interested in your story, and you know that we can change the way that they see things and the way that they process the world by speaking in pictures. Do you see what I'm getting here? Do you see what I'm getting at here? Let me give you the steps. So, step 1, take your universal problem. Step 2, find your limiting belief that is attached around the universal problem. Step 3, choose the archetypal journey that you're going to move through to get from one side of the problem to the other. And now, this is how you're going to build your chapter. Let's go with a small body of writing first. You want a scene that's showing your universal problem. So you want your scene that's showing some way this problem is stuffing up your life. You want to use sensory detail, what you can see, what you can touch, what you can smell. This is what's going to conjure up those images in the brain. And remember, the more vulnerable you are, the more honest you are, the more marketable you are. And it's not because people are going to be so appreciative of how brave you were. But if you admit something that you were actually really ashamed of, and somebody else also feels that shame, they aren't going to feel alone anymore. So you've built your scene. Now you're going to name that limiting belief and attach another image to it. This can be vines, this can be a broken down car, this can be any picture. And then what you're going to do is you're going to change that picture. So when you're writing something attached to a limiting belief, you want it to be a picture that's sort of dilapidated, or it's actually physically getting in your way. So when you change the picture, you are moving this thing out of the way. You are changing the limiting belief, which is kind of awful, into something that is better. Once you change the image into something better, put a new belief in its place, because the brain's going to be looking for some other way to protect you. And if you don't replace it with something better, then it'll just go back to what was. And then you change your scene and show how the universal problem is now less problematic. So we have universal problem, pictures, limiting belief, pictures, change limiting belief, pictures, change universal problem, pictures. I'm going to attach an example for you. I'm going to read that example out for you because you are lucky. And for my fiction writers, I'm going to attach the 10,000 word reader magnet that I use for my fantasy series. It's free for you. I use all of this in that magnet. And now that you've gone through this, you should be able to pick up, this is the limiting beliefs. This is how it's affecting her life. This is how her internal monologue is doing this. These are the pictures. And then you'll see the way that I've changed that throughout it so that readers get to the end of my novella feeling, better about themselves. It's very fun. It's very sneaky. And that's where we need to talk about the ethics portion, because story psychology is powerful. You want to make sure that in your non-fiction books, so in your method books and in your memoirs, you're talking about experiences that you actually went through, because that's where your expertise lives. And in fiction books and non-fiction, actually, if you bring your reader into a dark place, respect their nervous system and lead them back out so that your reader leaves empowered. I have beef with dark romantasy and dark fantasy and dark romance at the moment, because you've got a lot of authors that are throwing a ton of trauma and imagery down onto the page and not leading readers back out to it, which that then just perpetuates problems in their lives. But you'll see me ranting about that on social media.